Okay, so I need to be completely honest with you right now. Tomorrow is not just another day, and I know that probably sounds dramatic, but I really mean it. March 13th is when something massive happens in the sky that I think is going to ripple through certain people's lives in a way they're not going to be able to ignore. Here's what's happening. Mars, the planet of action and drive and pure willpower, is colliding with the North Node of destiny. And this isn't happening in just any sign. It's happening in Pisces, the most mystical, spiritual, intuitive sign of the entire zodiac. When I first started researching this transit, honestly, it gave me chills. Because this is the kind of cosmic event that astrologers have been talking about for centuries as a karmic accelerator. And I know some of you watching this might already be feeling it. Maybe you've noticed this weird restlessness lately, like something's building. Or maybe you've been having these sudden flashes of clarity about what you need to do next with your life. If that's you, stay with me on this one. There's a very specific reason that's happening, and I'm going to break down exactly what it means later in this video. But first, I need to explain what makes this particular alignment so powerful, because while everyone will feel this shift on some level, there are 3 zodiac signs that are about to receive what I can only describe as a fated opportunity. A cosmic push, a moment where the universe stops gently suggesting and starts demanding that you step into your actual life mission. This isn't just another transit, this is destiny making contact. So here's the thing about the North Node that I think most people don't fully understand. It's not a planet, it's actually a mathematical point in space where the moon's orbit crosses the path of the sun. And because of that connection to eclipses, ancient astrologers saw it as this profound marker of fate and destiny, like this is literally where your soul's mission lives in your chart. The North Node represents where you're supposed to be going in this lifetime. It's the evolution your soul is hungry for. And I really believe it's not always comfortable, because it asks you to leave behind what's familiar and step into territory you haven't mastered yet. Right now, the North Node is in Pisces, and what that means on a collective level is that humanity is being pulled away from rigid planning, from obsessive control, from needing empirical proof for everything. We're being asked to surrender, to trust, to move with intuition instead of just logic. Does that resonate with what you've been feeling lately? But here's where it gets intense. Tomorrow, Mars, the warrior planet, the planet of action and courage and sometimes conflict, makes an exact conjunction with that North Node, at 8 degrees and 23 minutes of Pisces, to be precise. And when Mars touches the destiny point, things happen, fast. This is what astrologers call a karmic accelerator. It's like the universe reaches down and physically pushes you toward your purpose. The fated opportunity doesn't arrive gently. It arrives with urgency, with heat, with this undeniable sense that if you don't act now, the window might close. The spiritual warrior, why Mars in Pisces changes everything. Now I want to talk about something that was honestly a huge realization for me when I was studying this transit. Mars doesn't normally feel comfortable in Pisces. Mars is fire, it's sharp edges, it's direct action. But Pisces is water, it's boundless, it's the dissolution of the ego, it's the ocean where everything merges. So when you drop the blade of Mars into the infinite waters of Pisces, its usual methods don't work anymore. You can't just force your way through. You can't bulldoze obstacles. The energy demands a completely different approach. And this is where the magic happens, I think, because the fated action required by this Mars-North Node conjunction isn't about conquering. It's about the spiritual warrior. It's about having the courage to surrender, to move forward without forcing outcomes, to trust the invisible current even when you can't see where it's taking you. I believe this is asking you to take decisive action toward compassion, toward vulnerability, toward dissolving the walls you've built around yourself out of fear. And I know that sounds counterintuitive to the whole idea of warrior energy, but that's exactly the point. The highest expression of strength right now isn't fighting, it's letting go. But here's what I really need you to understand. There's this fine line between impulse and intuition, especially in Pisces energy. Impulse is reactive, it's tight in your body, it's anxiety-driven, It's the ego trying to escape discomfort. Intuition, that arrives with a quiet sense of knowing, a calmness underneath, even if the directive itself is terrifying. So if you're feeling called to make a big move in the next few days, check in with your body. If it feels frantic, if you're white-knuckling it, that's probably impulse. If it feels serene but scary, if there's this deep clarity even though you can't explain it logically, that's your North Node calling. The jockey and the horse, what this degree is really telling us. Okay, so this is where it gets really specific, and honestly, this detail kind of blew my mind. Every degree of the zodiac has what's called a Sabian symbol, this channeled image that gives you the deeper esoteric meaning of that exact spot in the sky. And the Mars-North Node conjunction is happening at the 9th degree of Pisces. The Sabian symbol for Pisces 9 is, a jockey spurs his horse, intent on outdistancing his rivals. Now at first, that seems completely contradictory to everything Pisces stands for, right? Pisces is supposed to be about unity consciousness, about dissolving competition, about spiritual transcendence. But here's this intensely competitive image of a jockey furiously pushing his horse to win the race. And here's what I think this means. The horse represents your physical body, your life force. The jockey is your conscious will, that Mars energy. The race itself is your soul's evolutionary timeline. And what this symbol is telling us is that while the goal has to be spiritual, while the destination has to be aligned with Pisces values like compassion and intuition, the method of getting there requires absolute focused determination. This degree is saying you cannot meet this fated opportunity with passivity. You can't just drift and hope things work out. You have to pull out all the stops. You have to focus every ounce of your energy in a determined way. You have to climb into the saddle of your own destiny and spur yourself forward through the mist. It's a call to be a spiritual champion, to use that martial drive not to dominate others, but to aggressively outdistance the stagnant, fearful parts of yourself that want to keep you stuck. The 3 signs standing at destiny's door. Alright, so here's what you've been waiting for. While this transit affects everyone to some degree, there are 3 zodiac signs that are positioned to receive an absolutely massive, life-changing opportunity. And if you're one of these signs, sun, moon, or rising, I really need you to pay close attention. The universe is opening a door for you, but it won't stay open forever. Pisces, you're being reborn, and everyone's about to notice. So if you're a Pisces, I really need you to understand what's happening right now. This Mars-North Node conjunction is taking place directly in your first house, the house of your identity, your physical presence, your outward personality. This is you. This is your body. This is how the world sees you. And I think what's happening is nothing short of a complete rebirth. You've spent so much of your life playing the background character, right? The empath, the helper, the one who absorbs everyone else's emotions and carries their weight. You're used to being invisible, to blending in, to making yourself smaller so others feel more comfortable. But that version of you, it's dying tomorrow. And honestly, I think it needs to. The fated opportunity arriving for Pisces is the opportunity to step fully into your power without apology, to claim your space, to be seen, to be bold, to finally prioritize yourself without drowning in guilt about it. Mars entering your sign on March 2nd already started this process. You might have noticed this sudden surge of energy, this magnetic quality you haven't felt in a long time. And now, with Mars hitting the North Node directly in your sign, this is the universe physically pushing you into the spotlight. Here's what I think this looks like practically. You might get an opportunity to start something new that's entirely yours, a creative project, a business, a completely different path. Or maybe it's about finally asserting yourself in a relationship or situation where you've been letting yourself disappear. Maybe it's about making a decision about your appearance, your health, your physical presence in the world. And because Mercury is retrograde right now and will conjoin Mars on the 15th, I believe this opportunity might involve revisiting something from your past, a dream you abandoned, an identity you let go of, a version of yourself you thought was lost. But here's the critical part. You have to act. You have to embody that jockey symbol. You can't wait for permission. You can't spend weeks overthinking whether you're ready. The cosmic timing is now. And here's the beautiful part that I really want you to hold on to. Jupiter, your ruling planet, just stationed direct in Cancer on the 10th, and it's going to trine Mars on the 21st. What that means is that the bold, terrifying leap you take tomorrow, the universe is going to catch you. It's going to expand what you create. It's going to reward your courage with luck, with emotional fulfillment, with this overwhelming sense that you're finally on the right path. Virgo, surrender control, let love in. Okay, Virgo, we need to talk, because while Pisces is experiencing this rebirth of self, you're experiencing something equally profound, but in the opposite direction. The Mars North Node conjunction is happening in your 7th house, the house of partnerships, committed relationships, marriage, contracts with other people. And I know this might feel scary, because the 7th house is where you meet the other. It's where you're forced to let someone else into your perfectly organized world. Here's what I think is really going on. You've been hosting the South Node for over a year now, and the South Node represents what you need to release. For you, that's been about releasing the need for absolute control, the perfectionism, the over-analyzing, the compulsion to have every detail of your life mapped out before you make a move. The lunar eclipse in your sign on March 3rd already started clearing this out. It emptied the vessel, and now the North Node in Pisces is delivering the gift, but the gift requires vulnerability. The fated opportunity arriving for Virgo is relational. Someone might be entering your life, or someone already in your life is about to become infinitely more significant. And this isn't the kind of relationship you can logic your way through. This isn't about compatibility checklists or making sure everything makes practical sense. This is about taking a leap of faith into emotional surrender, into trusting someone even when you can't control the outcome, into allowing yourself to be seen in all your messy, imperfect humanity. And I know that's terrifying for you. I really do. Your instinct is to protect yourself by staying analytical, by keeping a safe distance, by never fully letting your guard down. But the universe is asking you to put down the spreadsheet, to stop micromanaging your heart, to risk making a mistake in favor of being fully present. Now, this could also manifest as the opposite. If you're in a partnership that's fundamentally out of alignment with your soul's mission, Mars has a blade. And sometimes the fated action is severance, a decisive, clean cut that removes an obstacle to your growth. Either way, the theme is the same. You're being asked to trust something bigger than your analytical mind, to move from the head to the heart. And with Jupiter going direct in your 11th house of community and future hopes, I really believe this is about finding spiritual connection and devotion, not just practical partnership. Gemini, your public calling is here. Step into the spotlight. All right, Gemini, if you've been feeling this insane pressure lately, like the entire world is waiting for you to make a move, there's a reason for that. The Mars North Node conjunction is happening at the very top of your chart, your 10th house, the house of career, public reputation, legacy, authority. This is the most visible part of your entire chart, and Mars hitting the destiny point here, that's not subtle, that's the universe physically pushing you onto the public stage. Here's what I think is happening. You've probably been stuck in analysis paralysis for a while now. Every possible career path seems interesting. Every option has merit. But nothing feels like the absolute certain choice, so you've been waiting. Gathering more information, weighing more options, staying in motion but not actually moving forward. And the universe is done waiting. The fated opportunity arriving for Gemini is a career or public mission that demands you stop thinking and start doing. You might get offered a sudden promotion, a leadership role you didn't expect, a chance to step into authority during a crisis, or maybe it's the realization that the path you've been resisting, the one that seems too big, too scary, too visible, is actually your calling. What makes this so powerful for you is that Gemini naturally wants to do everything. You want to keep your options open. You want to run multiple races at once. But the Sabian symbol of the jockey is incredibly relevant here. You have to focus. You have to choose one race and pour all your energy into it. And I know that feels uncomfortable. I know it feels limiting. But here's the thing, by scattering your energy, you've been preventing yourself from actually breaking through. The fated action required right now is singular focus. It's blocking out the peripheral noise and committing to one direction with absolute determination. Because Mars demands autonomy, the North Node dictates destiny. Combined in your 10th house, you're being called to lead, not follow, to step boldly into visibility, to build confidence through the sheer act of forward motion rather than waiting for absolute clarity before you move. And here's what I really want you to trust. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. You don't need all the answers before you start. You just need to take the first step with courage. And when you do, the universe is going to meet you there. The days after, integration and cosmic reward. So here's something really important that I don't want you to miss. The energy of March 13th doesn't just spike and disappear. This is setting a trajectory for your entire year. Mercury retrograde is complicating things in a really interesting way. 2 days after the Mars North Node conjunction, Mercury is going to retrograde back and conjoin Mars again on the 15th. What that means is that the bold action you take tomorrow needs to be followed by reflection, by internal processing, by revisiting and refining. So if you say something intense, if you make a big decision, if you take a leap, give yourself permission to review it, to have conversations about it, to clarify and adjust as needed. Mercury stations direct on the 20th, and that's when your mind finally catches up with your soul's new direction. But here's the part that honestly gives me so much hope. On March 21st, Mars makes an exact trine to Jupiter. And in astrology, a trine between planets in water signs is like an uninterrupted flow of spiritual and emotional support. This is the cosmic reward. This is the universe saying you took the leap, you trusted, you acted with courage even when you couldn't see the full picture, and now I'm going to validate that choice. You'll feel it as increased confidence, as emotional security, as this overwhelming sense that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Final thoughts, trust the fog. Okay, so I want to leave you with this. Tomorrow isn't for the faint of heart. This Mars-destiny collision requires real courage. It requires you to act definitively without demanding proof of the outcome. It requires you to trust the invisible current even when you can't see the shore. For Pisces, it's about claiming yourself unapologetically. For Virgo, it's about surrendering to vulnerable connection. For Gemini, it's about stepping into your public mission with focused determination. But for all of us, it's about recognizing that sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is take bold, decisive action. The fog of Pisces doesn't clear just because you want it to. You have to move through it anyway. You have to spur the horse forward even when you can't see the finish line. And that's terrifying, I know. But it's also the exact test of the spiritual warrior. To discard the armor that no longer serves you and trust that the universe has your back. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, it means the world to me. If this resonated with you and you want more astrology content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And please come back after March 13th and tell me what happened. I genuinely want to hear your experiences. Drop them in the comments below. We're all navigating this cosmic wave together. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and I'll see you tomorrow.